Well, good morning and welcome to the 5-day launch journey to becoming your best self in 2025. My name is Tereesa Wentland and I'm excited you're here, and I'm going to wait a few minutes while people join and find us this morning because there might be some questions on how to get to the page and how to open live. And so I just want to make sure everybody has a few minutes to get on here and join us. So good morning, Denise. I'm super excited to see you here. And just remember, you guys, that as you're on here this morning, there is a chat. Say good morning. Let's get to know each other, share with each other, say hello, tell me where you're coming from. I'm really excited you're here. And I was just spending some time this morning reading through the comments and what people are wanting to accomplish. And I'm super excited because I really believe that this 5-day journey that we're ready to embark on together is going to really launch people into looking at what's most important to you, and letting go of past experiences and behaviors and habits and step into becoming your best self. So hi, Debbie. Thanks for joining me. Good morning, Taffy. I'm excited you guys are here. We're just waiting a minute for people to join because I know sometimes getting on live in the morning at 7 a.m. can be a little bit tricky. While we're waiting for the actual, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about myself and why I'm here. Good morning, Donna. So again, my name is Tereesa Wentland, and I am really excited that you're here, and I'm really excited to be sharing this journey with you. If you don't know me, I am a mom. I have 2 grown children. My son is 24, my daughter is 22. I've been married 30 years to my husband, Jim, 31 years this year. I have been a professional equestrian instructor, master instructor for the last almost 25 years. And so I run an equestrian program in Spokane. This is the second one I've started from the ground up. So I've built this business with my family and myself, and it keeps me on my toes. We also, here at our ranch, we have an Airbnb. We run 3 businesses out of our ranch here. And I'm also an optimal health and wellness coach. And so I've been doing that for about 7 years. And over the last few years, I've been trying to figure out a way to take all of my skill sets that I have learned and combine them, because I have such a passion in my heart to help people. And I've helped a lot of people through my health coaching practice and through the equestrian. But what I love about combining both of these things is that there is a way that horses have taught me to see things in a different light. And it's because horses have a sense, and they help us to see our real selves for ourselves. And so because I coach riding and I've trained horses for the last 25 years, I've got to see a lot of things from a different perspective, from a different than a human perspective. So combining that with my coaching has been beautiful, and I've been able to really help people dive in and transform their lives for long-term optimal health, as well as letting go of chains of past experiences, childhood trauma, and generational dysfunction. So that's what's going to bring us into today, is kind of that story. Good morning, Megan. Good morning, Sarah. I'm just kind of waiting to see people pop on. I know a lot of people were wanting to be here this morning. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So after just kind of letting you know who I am and why I'm here, is I'm so excited that you're here. You know, through this prepping for this, a lot of people have shared some of the things that have brought them here. And I just kind of want to share some of those this morning as we dive in. And, you know, many of you talked about your procrastination, like you're having a hard time getting things done. You know, everyone else comes first. You've been taking care of a sick family member, and so everybody else is more important than you are. Or some of you have had spouses that have passed, and so you're just really finding yourself in a space where you don't know what's next for you. So you're just kind of in survival mode, and you're just looking for a way out, and you're just feeling stuck. Many of you are struggling with following through, and you know, following through, you set up goals for yourself and you just can't quite follow through, and that's, I understand that. And many of you are talking about health and well-being. You're just like, I really need to be consistent in my health. I know what to do, but I'm struggling to be able to do it and follow through and stay consistent. Many of you have just lost yourself. Like, life happened, it took over. Some sort of trauma happened, you had a serious accident, or something happened in your life, and you just haven't been able to find your way forward. And some of you are developing, have some exciting things, and you need more motivation and structure, and you're developing a business, or maybe you're taking on a new thing in your life, and maybe some of you just, you just don't even know, right? Are you in that space right now where you just don't even know what you want, or where, what's most important to you and how to get started? And some of you have shared that, and you're just feeling stuck. And you know what I can tell you right now is that every person on here, good morning, Cheryl, probably feels a lot the same way. And again, feel free to comment in the chat below. I mean, is one of those things you? And or if that not one of those things is you, where are you right now? And what do you want to accomplish? And what's holding you back from becoming more? So many of us start out the new year with New Year's resolutions, or thinking that is what we need to do because that's what we've always done. Well, let me talk to you a little bit about that. New Year's resolutions don't work. And the reason that they don't work is there's nothing attached to them. And we all know, and we've been trained generationally that, we can do it for a certain amount of time, and then it's okay to give up. And that's dysfunction, right? That's generational dysfunction. That's a value system that was given to you that maybe you didn't sign up for, or maybe you didn't even realize, because it's so society recognized that it's okay. It's okay to give up on yourself. It's okay to set yourself goals and then just go ahead and give up. And the one thing that I can say about that is, that was me for many years, from ages 16 to 45, because I didn't know different. What I thought was that was just the way things were, that's the way life was, that's the way it had to be, because that's the way it had always been. And so I'll just tell you that, guess what? You're in for a shock. That's not how it is. And the resolutions, or these things that you set for yourself that you continually let yourself off the hook for, are the reason you are where you're at. And my question to you today is, are you ready to commit to change? Are you ready to commit to thinking different? Are you ready to commit to letting go of past experiences or value systems that someone else gave you, and maybe that you've been doing for a long, long time, but you know what? You wake up every day doing the same things over again and expecting a different result, or year after year after year. And if that's you, this is for you. And I am here to tell you that the steps that I'm going to tell you today, or give you, are really going to, number one, change the way that you think about how you set yourself up for success and the habits that you have. And it's going to help you step into becoming your best self. But the first thing to coming into your best self is letting go of past experiences and values that have kept you stuck where you are. Good morning, Jolene, Justina, Cindy. Thank you for joining me. If you're just coming in, you guys, guess what? You can go back and listen to the first few minutes, because it's really important to set the tone for what's coming up next. But that brings me to, what are we going to be talking about today? And I can tell the thing about a value system and generational dysfunction, and when I say that word, I don't mean it in a bad way. So one of the things that we tend to do as humans is, when somebody says something, we judge it whether it's good, bad, right, or wrong. And what I'm going to ask you through this week is not to judge what I'm saying or what you're thinking, because it isn't good or bad or right or wrong, but step into a space of it just is. So when I'm talking about generational dysfunction, I'm not giving it a meaning of good or bad, right or wrong. I'm just saying that it's not working for you, and it's not aligning for you to become your best self. It might be holding you back from the future that you want to create. And because of past experiences and the way that you were raised, or something that someone else told you made you think a certain way, and that may be keeping you stuck in where you're at. So you people that are feeling like, oh my gosh, everybody else comes first, that's because probably your mom was that way, or somebody else in your life was that way, or because you feel like You know, you have to take care of everything. Somebody else probably gave that to you. The reason that you feel like your health is a continual, you know, roller coaster ride is that has been modeled for you. That's the American way. Let's take the quick fix. Let's do the new latest and greatest thing. You know, let's eat nothing. Let's take a pill, right? This is what's been modeled for you. And this is probably why you think the way that you do. And learning to get yourself outside of that is going to take a little bit of change in the way that you think and change in the way that you do things. And so if you're not open to that, it's going to be really hard to change. So just asking yourself, am I willing to have an open mind? Am I willing to try things different? Am I willing to commit to letting go of the way that I've always thought, because I know that I really, really want to embrace my best self and all that I'm created for. Good morning, Nikki. Thanks for joining me. And so that really kind of sets the tone for what we're going to be working on today. So one of the things is I'm going to be having you do. So if you have your workbook and you have printed it out, today we're going to be talking about clarity. And getting clarity on what's most important to you is so, and what I'm going to say to you is it may not come this week. If you have been stuck in a place for a long, long time and you have a lot of generational dysfunction behind you or a lot of things that have kept you where you are, it may take this week just kind of peeling back the onion. So this is the top layer, so to speak, okay? To open you up to what's possible. And you may have to take some time to chew on it. So it will, and here's the cool thing, is once you know something, it's not like you can give it back. You know it. It's in your soul. It's sewed in there. And so when you're learning new things, you're just learning that. And so don't feel like this week you have to make a bunch of decisions or a bunch of changes. This is just getting some clarity on creating a life around what matters most and looking at the future that you want to create outside of all the things that you've already always done and doing them the same way. So it's going to take a little bit of inner work. It's going to take a little bit of outer work and actually writing down things and keeping track of things, and for us to actually move through this process. So today, though, what I want to talk about is clarity. And we're going to divide clarity for you into the things that you have to do, the things that you need to do, and the things that you want to do. And so hi Nancy, hi Sandy. What I would really love for us to just really step into, and I want you to lean in here. I know some of us multitask and do these things, but when you're listening to this later, I want you to really lean in here because this part is super important, is what are the things that you actually have to do today? And so much of the time, our have-tos end up taking up our whole day because we have allowed that. And maybe it's your job, maybe it's your family, maybe it's your kids, but what are the things in your day today that you absolutely have to do? Where are the things in your life that if you did not do those, life would not go forward? And so for most of us, it's a job, right? Most of us, it's getting out of bed in the morning. Most of us, it's eating. Most of us, it's running kids. You know, what are the things that you actually have to do? And so much of the time when you really step back and really think about it, some of the things that you really put the pressure on yourself that you actually have to do, we're going to be talking about that through the week. We may be putting them in the need to and being able to take some of those off your plate. But this is a really important part today for you to sit down and write down. And we have a printable for you in the workbook on day 1 under the have-tos. So I want you to take some time today and really write out are the things that you think in your mind that you really have to do in a day. And so much of the time, the things that we have to do are things that we feel obligation for. And what I would like you to think about is, are your have-tos the things that you really chose for you? And we're not judging them today, but we're thinking in our mind, are they things I really, really need to do? Are they really things I really have to do? The second column today that we're going to be talking about is the need to. And these are the things in our life that we end up, sometimes it's like, oh my gosh, and we spend so much time thinking about it that we don't actually do the things that we really want to do. So we spend a lot of time thinking about the things that we need to do. So the things that might be doing your laundry, doing your groceries, maybe it's cooking, maybe it's running errands, maybe it's taking your kids to the doctor's appointments, maybe it's taking your doctor's appointments, maybe it's cleaning your house, maybe it's organizing something, maybe it's yard work, right? All of these things, cleaning out your car, that you feel like you need to do in a day. And so, you throw them in wherever you can fit it, right? And so most of the time you're thinking about all the things that you need to do instead of actually doing them. And so they're taking up brain space. But what I really want you to do today is write down on your paper, what are the things that you feel like you absolutely need to do on a daily basis that maybe aren't a have to, but are things that you can maybe put aside or they can be moved around in your day, okay? And so again, for those of you just joining us, we are not judging what we're doing right now. There's no right or wrong, good or bad in what our day looks like. Right now, we're just trying to get clarity on where we actually are right now and what we're actually doing so that when we go to create habits and new structure, we can think about it from a different lens, okay? The last column is your want tos. And how many of you can comment below, actually are doing in your day things that you really want to do, right? So maybe it's that picking up that book and reading it. And maybe it's, just laying on the couch and vegging. Or maybe it is exercising. Or maybe it is taking some time out to spend with your spouse. Or maybe it is one-on-one time with your kids. What are the things in your heart, you've been putting off for such a long time, but you really want to do? Some of the things for me that I really wanted to do this last year was I wanted to learn more. I want to spend time educating myself. Education is super important in personal growth. And if I don't create time in my schedule, guess what? I just continue to do the same things over, expect a different result. So it takes time to stop the things that I have to do, need to do, and create space in my time for the things that I want to do that are going to bring me to the future that I really want to create for myself. Instead of staying stuck in the value system and the generational dysfunction and all the things that someone else told me should be more important in my life. I've had a lot of guilt through my life of really putting time in my day for the things that I want to do. Because I thought it was bad. I was being selfish and these kinds of things. And again, we're not judging that today, but I want you to start opening your mind to the idea that your want-tos are important. And you know what? I'm hoping by the end of the week, your want-tos replace some of your have-tos and your need-tos so that you have space in your life to really show up in a way instead of living in survival and for someone else and doing things and priorities that mean more for everyone else in your life versus you, that you can show up in a space that's intrinsically motivating to you, where you jump out of bed, you throw the covers back every morning and you're like, yes, I am hitting the floor running today because guess what? I want to do the things that I am doing today. I am not stuck in a space of having to and an obligation. So that is where we are today. We're getting some clarity on the things that we feel like we have to do every day. Where are the needs? And then I really want us to spend some focused time today on our want-tos. So I'm really excited to just kind of map this out, you guys, for us today. So if you've printed out your workbook, we have this here for you. You can use this sheet, use a piece of paper, you can use the notes on your phone, whatever makes more sense to you to do. But this part of the exercise, you guys, for you to move forward through this week this is like critical to take some time today. What I would love for you to do at the end of the day today is, once you've done that, is share in the comments under this post that you have created your have-tos, need-tos, and want-tos. All right, so if you want to get back into your workbook, we put some things in there to kind of spur your ways of thinking. So sometimes when we think about what we really want to do, or our have tos and our need tos, sometimes we think one-sided. And so this wheel kind of helps us to think about, a lot of times we forget about the things that we actually have to do, right? And the things that we need to do and the things that we want to, because we're so busy in survival mode that we're really not thinking clear on maybe what is important to us in our future. And so where do you put your time in your day for your personal growth? Do you have time in your day for your health? Do you have time in your day for relationships? How about your finances? How about creating a business or working on your business, or the things that are important to you? Or are you a person that goes to someone else and takes care of their business but never does something that's exciting to you to grow, something outside of your work? How about spirituality? I mean, how much time in your day do you spend, depending on if you're, I'm a Christian, but not everybody is, that's okay. But do you have time in your day to meditate, to be, that in that space where you're taking care of your spiritual health? How about fun? For me this last year, my goal for me was do something fun every single day that brought me joy, whether it was riding my horse, riding my Harley, spending time with my husband, maybe it's taking a walk, going snow skiing, these kinds of things. I mean, have you thought about that? Are those on your want-to sheets? The things that are important. And when I talked about relationships, do you have time every day, for those relationships that are most important to you? And, if you haven't thought about those and they're not in there, guess what? No judgment, right? We're not judging ourselves in this process. We're just saying, hey, hadn't really thought about creating space for that. And so this is just getting clear and opening your mind to that. How about friendships? Have you spent time creating friendships? Because we know that we are like the top 5 people we hang around with. And so if we don't have time to have people in our world that are building us up, man, maybe that needs to be on your one too, right? And so these are just some things to kind of spur your thinking as we start getting some clarity this week on what's most important to you and where are you spending your time, and maybe where would you like to spend your time and create a future around what matters most to you and not what you've always done. Another thing to think about is goals. And some of you may not be in this space, okay? Again, just let yourself go. Don't beat yourself up. Today is not the day for that. Today is the day to be focusing on just being open to possibility and knowing that maybe where you are isn't where you have to always be, and that there is so much more for you once you walk through this process, once you dive into what is important, and then you can get it down on a sheet and create habits and structure around what I'm teaching you. So when you think about, man, what could my life look like a week from now? Who knows? But let's just start here today, and let's just let go of that need to be perfect, that need to be right, that need to be like someone else, that need to compare to what someone else is doing, and just be in our own space today of we are becoming what is more best for us. We're evolving to our best self. We are letting go of past commitments and obligations and the things that have held us where we are. And so do you have back to the worksheet, do you have some life goals that you would like to accomplish, but maybe they've been on the side burner, or because you're operating in overwhelm all the time and you can't figure it out, that you can't create time for those things that you really want to accomplish in your life? Those things, those big goals, those dreams that are behind your eyes, they're there. Maybe it's getting a new house. Maybe it's building a new business. Maybe it's a new relationship. Maybe you've been single a long time, or you've lost a spouse and you're like, hey, I just don't want to be alone anymore. Do you have time in your day to kind of start thinking about those things? And do you have goals for those things? Have you actually even thought about those things? Have you thought about, maybe for me, one of the things is really spending time in God's Word and with Him each day, because I know that fills my cup. And so this last year too, I had to create time in my space every single day to show up in that space so that I can be my best self for me, So those are just I would just walk through that, just think through that process today, and really just dive into that. So what I'd like to wrap up here with today is, good morning, Catherine and Wanda, Carrie, thanks for joining me. I want to just, I've shared a lot of information this morning, and I want us to step into that space of, sometimes there's these voices in our head of self-doubt that say that might be possible for you, Tereesa, but you know what? I've been here a long time, and it's hard for me. And I have all of these things in my life that overtake me. And maybe it's your surroundings or what have you. And that's what I'm talking about when at the beginning of this live today was, are you committed to staying where you are? Because if you are, guess what? That's okay. I love you anyway, and you will love you anyway too. But if you're ready to commit to yourself, to move forward and to become your best self, then are you willing to actually take some action steps to move yourself forward? Being on this live is awesome, or listening to it later, but it's like going to church on Sunday and then you get out of bed on Monday and you're mean and you're nasty and you are not showing up as your best self. It's because you didn't apply the things that you learned into your life. And so these tools, the only way that they're going to work and that you're going to actually be able to facilitate change and thinking different is to actually step into doing different. So I really challenge you to, if you haven't printed out the workbook, print out the workbook. I challenge you to actually spend physical time, 10 minutes. This could take 5 to 10 minutes. Fill it out and spend some time thinking about what I said, and maybe even re-listening to this between today and tomorrow. The other thing is to bring other people with you on this journey. So if you have family members in your house, a lot of times it can be hard to make change in our life if we don't have the support of others. And we'll talk later in the week about how do we communicate with people in our lives. But I would invite people along this journey with you. Let them know you've joined this group. Bring them along. Have them join in. Have them listen to the lives again. Because you know what? Having a surrounding of people that are like-minded is way more profitable to you to move you forward to becoming your best self, and instead of just trying to do it all on an island alone. The other thing is, remember to comment below that you're in, that you have done the worksheets, and that you've thought through the process, and that you're working on that clarity piece. And remember, this is just a launch, you guys. This is just a baby step to becoming your best self. And it isn't an overnight process, but I can tell you after today, when you start, it's just starting. It's kind of like that. How many of you guys drive a diesel? Good morning, Joe. You start it up and the engine but once you get the ball, it warms up, it runs, it purrs, right? And that's like this process. It's kind of clunky. It's a little bit hard to dive in. It's hard to make time when we are living in overwhelm. But here's the thing I can tell you right now is, if you just start today with a baby step, and maybe it's not perfect, you don't get all 3 areas filled in, maybe you just get a couple things written down, guess what? That's a start. And we will celebrate that. Any baby step that you do today to move yourself forward to becoming your best. So anyway, I love you guys. I pray that you guys have an amazing day. I hope that this was helpful to you and that you are set on that path to becoming your best self in 2025. You're ready to let go of the things that have held you back for all this time, that you're ready to step in to different thinking, that you're open and you're not judging yourself in a right or wrong, good or bad space. You're just accepting yourself for where you are and who you are today. All right, God bless you and have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place.